The galaxy trembles on the edge of fate. One heartbeat, one breath, one choice, and destiny itself can unravel. In the shadows of Mustafar's burning rivers, a single decision decides the future of the Force. What if Anakin Skywalker had saved Padme, instead of losing her? This is the forbidden tale of a galaxy that never was. A path hidden in whispers of prophecy and in the Force's eternal currents. Where the chosen one, consumed by fear of loss, dares to rewrite destiny with his own hands. Instead of tragedy, imagine a spark of hope. Instead of a scream cut short, the embrace of survival. Padme Amidala, alive, carrying not only her children, but the fragile promise of peace. What would have become of the Sith's rise, of the rebellion's birth, of Luke and Leia's destinies? The Jedi foretold balance, but balance takes many forms. If love had triumphed over fear, if Anakin's humanity had endured in the moment he stood above Padme's fallen form, the galaxy itself would have bent to a new truth. This is the story of what might have been. A hidden timeline, sealed away in the Force, never meant to be revealed. The planet Mustafar was already a tomb waiting to be written. Its rivers of molten fire and skies of ash reflected the chaos inside Anakin Skywalker's soul. In canon, it was here that the final thread of his humanity snapped, where love twisted into rage, and fear turned him against the woman he sought to protect. Padme, collapsing under the weight of betrayal, was choked into unconsciousness as Obi-Wan emerged from the shadows. The duel that followed sealed Anakin's fate. But what if the moment had fractured differently? Picture Anakin standing above Padme, her fragile breath still clinging to life. The fury in his eyes begins to fade as her trembling voice whispers his name. Instead of rage, guilt pierces him like a lightsaber through the chest. He releases her, stumbling back, horror dawning at what he almost became. It is in this instant that destiny rewrites itself. Obi-Wan still emerges, but he does not see only a monster. He sees a broken man caught between love and damnation. The duel may still ignite, but its purpose is transformed. No longer purely survival, it becomes a desperate struggle to pull Anakin back from the abyss before Sidious tightens his grip completely. The Force itself shudders at this divergence. The timeline split not by the death of Padme, but by her survival, a living beacon tethering Anakin to the light. And yet, survival is only the beginning. Padme's survival and Anakin's fractured redemption. Padme Amidala's survival changes everything. No longer a fallen angel buried in the flames of Mustafar, she becomes the fragile thread binding Anakin Skywalker to his humanity. But survival does not erase betrayal, and Padme awakens not only to life, but to the horrifying truth of the man she loves. Imagine her lying in hiding, perhaps on Polis Massa or another secret refuge, cradling her unborn children while wrestling with grief and fear. Anakin, her husband, her protector, nearly killed her in blind rage. And yet, she knows the man he was, the boy who dreamed of freeing slaves, the Jedi who swore to guard the Republic. Can she forgive him? Or does her survival only sharpen the wound? For Anakin, the weight is unbearable. He does not lose her to death, but to distance. Every moment she breathes, he must reckon with the choices that nearly destroyed her. Guilt becomes his constant shadow. Padme's gaze, no longer of admiration, but of sorrow, is a mirror that strips away Vader's armor before it is fully forged. This fragile survival does not heal Anakin instantly. Instead, it fractures him further. He is torn between the lies of Sidious, promising unlimited power, and the living proof that love and mercy still exist in Padme. He has not fallen entirely into the dark, but neither has he returned fully to the light. Padme becomes his test, his only hope of redemption, or the reminder that he no longer deserves it. But what of the children she carries? The fate of Luke and Leia in a changed galaxy. The destinies of Luke and Leia Skywalker are born from tragedy in the canon timeline. Hidden from their father, they grow up apart. One is a moisture farmer on Tatooine, the other a princess of Alderaan. Their separation the only safeguard against the Empire's iron grip. But with Padme's survival, everything shifts. Picture the moment of their birth. Instead of Padme's final breath fading as she names her children, she holds them, alive and trembling, in her arms. The galaxy that awaited them remains perilous. But their mother is there to shield them from the storm. Would she hide them from Anakin? Or would she believe that keeping them close could save him? This question defines their alternate destiny. If Padme keeps Luke and Leia near, they grow up not as scattered sparks of rebellion, but as twin suns rising together under their mother's watchful eyes. Their bond would be unbreakable from the start, a unity the Emperor could never have anticipated. But if Sidious learns of them, the danger magnifies tenfold. The children of Anakin Skywalker, strong in the Force, would become his most coveted prize. And here lies the paradox. Padme's survival ensures love and family remain possible. But it also paints a target larger than ever. Luke and Leia's fate in this new reality would depend not only on Padme's choices, but on whether Anakin himself allows his children to live in the light or drags them into the shadow of the Sith. With Padme alive and Anakin caught in the fragile space between light and dark, the balance of power in the galaxy begins to fracture in ways Sidious could never have predicted. In the original timeline, Vader rises as the Emperor's unchallenged apprentice, the enforcer of his will, while the Jedi are hunted into near extinction. But in this altered reality, Anakin is no longer a perfect weapon. His loyalty is divided. His fury still simmers, yet it is tempered by Padme's survival and the secret knowledge of his children. Sidious senses this weakness, and for the first time, the Dark Lord's perfect plan is compromised. The Jedi Purge may still occur, but with hesitation in Anakin's heart, cracks form. Perhaps he spares certain Jedi, not out of mercy, but out of uncertainty. Perhaps Obi-Wan or Yoda discover Padme's survival, and through her, glimpse a chance to reach Anakin. In this version of events, the Order is not entirely extinguished. Embers remain, waiting to be fanned back into flame. Meanwhile, the Sith are not as united as history records. Sidious demands absolute obedience, yet Anakin's fractured soul resists. The Master begins to fear his apprentice, not for betrayal and strength, but for betrayal and weakness. If Padme and the twins become leverage, Anakin could be torn away from the dark entirely. The galaxy itself begins to tremble, no longer held firmly in the fist of either Jedi or Sith. A dangerous equilibrium emerges, fragile and unstable. But destiny still waits for one answer. Would Anakin fulfill the prophecy, even in this altered path? From the moment of his birth, Anakin Skywalker was bound to prophecy, the chosen one, destined to bring balance to the Force. Yet the nature of prophecy is never simple. Balance does not always arrive in the way the Jedi expect. In the true timeline, Anakin fulfills his destiny not through conquest, but through sacrifice, destroying the Emperor in the end, even at the cost of his own life. But in this altered reality, where Padme survives, the path bends into uncharted ground. Could Anakin still bring balance, even without the final, tragic duel between Vader and Luke? The answer may lie in his fractured state. With Padme alive, Anakin is tethered to both the light and the dark. He becomes a living fulcrum of the Force, not fully Jedi, not fully Sith. In this existence, balance could emerge not from destruction, but from coexistence. He embodies both sides of the Force, struggling daily with rage and compassion, fear and love. Padme's presence and the existence of Luke and Leia amplify this tension. Through them, Anakin might learn that balance is not about annihilating one side, but about harmony between both. Yet such harmony would be fragile, constantly threatened by Sidious manipulations and Anakin's own flaws. Would this version of Anakin still slay his master one day? Or would his greatest victory be simply resisting him, breaking the Sith's cycle of domination without needing to destroy himself in the process? The prophecy lingers, its meaning ever shifting. In saving Padme, Anakin may have redefined what it truly means to bring balance to the Force.